This is Style Shifter. In the next hour, we will journey into the past, present, and future of personal fashion decisions. My name is Daria, and every week, you and I will embark on a time machine that operates on self-awareness and stylistic solutions. Our destination? A place from which you can shift from style insecurities towards more confident fashion choices. Hello, Julie. Welcome to the Style Shifter podcast. I'm excited to hear your story. Can you tell me about your fashion struggles?
Yeah, thank you, Daria. I suppose at the moment, what I'm thinking the most about is my size. Like a lot of people during the pandemic, I was spending a lot of time indoors and getting out of my good habits and routines. And I gained quite a bit of weight through that experience. I'm about 2 dress sizes from where I was pre-pandemic. But in some ways, I think I was working really hard to lose the weight, and I just found it was making me miserable. I am where I am, and I'm trying to buy things to fit where I am. But it's a different way of looking at your body, and I think some of the styles that I liked in my old size, I find it hard to find where I suppose my style is now.
I think a lot of women can relate to your problem. Even I can relate to your problem. And I try to understand that it's normal, especially for women, to have fluctuating weight. And it's just something that we have to get used to and learn how to work with that without hating our bodies and embracing it instead. Okay, so Style Shifter is actually a time machine. Today, I'm going to travel with you to your past, present, and future. Because I think in order to understand how to move on, we have to cover what you experienced in the past in terms of your style, what are your present struggles, and what are your fashion goals. So let's go to the past. Before the pandemic, the getting more weight, did you struggle with your body?
Yeah, I've always felt large. I'm quite tall. I'm 5'9", and I always have felt big and awkward in terms of being in a particular space. It's always been something that I've been very aware of.
When do you think it first started? Because usually we start experiencing body shame in very early age. So can you think back and point out the first time you felt uncomfortable in your body?
I suppose probably in high school, I was in the theatre club, and we'd have to do costumes, and so I suppose I was probably very aware then. As well, I always went to schools that had a school uniform, and I think in high school I was always a bit shy and everything, but in high school you have to pick your own clothes and outside of school, and it's weird to look back, but I remember feeling very clearly, I don't know, what do people wear? What's normal to wear for clothes? And on some level, I suppose I felt like I wasn't cool enough to be like a fashion person. So some things are maybe too cool or too fashion. So I just need something like normal. When I was a teenager, that's really what I was thinking. What's a normal thing to wear that won't be too flashy? Or I think even now, but certainly when I was a teenager, I was always mortified if anybody commented, oh, that top is really stylish, or that's really different. I just was like, oh, I don't want anybody to notice me. And then the whole shopping, you're figuring out like, what's my size? And then I think when you're a teenager, you're thinking like, oh, is that a bad size to be? Because like the teenage sizes, I would have always been really at the top of that range. I can think of quite a few experiences then that would have made me very aware. In college, I figured out things that worked for me. I feel like I've come back around to some of those earlier feelings. Although I think I have a little better sense now not to think like, what's the normal thing to wear?
Do you go for something more fashionable now? Are you more
Uh,
adventurous?
I think so. So when I figured things out in my 20s, it was very much around, I'd say, a vintage style, more like dresses and the kind of fit and flare look. And in some ways, I was starting to feel a bit dissatisfied with that because I felt like people had a judgment. Oh, she always dresses so feminine, vintage. Julie must really like house things. I think now I definitely am much more interested in minimal style or things that are more modern, or to my mind it's a more artistic look. That's a bit of a funny adjective, but really thinking about colors and shapes, and not so much thinking flattering all the time.
Mhm.
Oh, I have to look as skinny as possible. Now I think I'm not trying to look skinny all the time, but yeah, but maybe more thinking about having interesting clothes in a way that I think look interesting, instead of how can I make myself look as conventionally good looking as possible.
And now that your taste changed from vintage feminine dresses to this more of a minimal kind of style, is this purely because of how other people see you and because of the body change? Is
Mm.
that all? Or you actually like the look?
I think it is that I like that look. I'm going to be 40 soon and I'm an adult. When I think about what do I want to be like as an adult, as a professional in a particular stage in my career, I don't know. I can't say, oh, there's somebody in particular that I think of. The challenge is really that a lot of the things that I really like the look of, say, in pictures, it's loose or structural that way, bigger shapes and things, bright colors, all that kind of thing. But then if I'm wearing it, if I'm trying it on in a shop or something, I'm thinking, oh, I look like a tent. You wouldn't judge it on somebody else. It's like, that looks amazing. You look amazing. But for me, when I do it, I think, oh, I look terrible.
Yeah, the way we perceive ourselves, especially when it comes to fashion and style, can be a tricky thing. We often are our own harshest critics. One thing that might help is trying to shift your perspective a bit. When you have these moments of self doubt or self hate, train yourself to view things more objectively, focusing on the item of clothing rather than internalizing it as a reflection of yourself. So instead of thinking, I look like a tent, maybe try, this top makes me look so big. Or instead of, I look terrible, consider saying, this top makes me feel a bit self conscious. Or this top makes me look terrible. And this way, you're not associating your worth or beauty with the clothing, but rather noting that the fit or style might not be the best for you. Hi, style shifters! Ever wondered what it's like to have a wardrobe that is full of exciting, ready to wear outfits? Thousands of women have done it with the Wonder Wardrobe online course. The course is your ever present style ally, packed with outfit formulas and styling tips from my extensive experience as an international personal stylist and shopper. It's time to ditch the style riddles and get practical style results today at wonder-wardrobe.com. All right, let's go to the present. What do you have in your wardrobe right now? Do you have nice clothes that you enjoy wearing every day?
I have a nice little collection of things that I really like wearing, particularly for the office, because we have come back to the office 2 days a week, and that really sparked me to think, okay, you have to have clothes to be able to go to the office and feel comfortable and feel good. And so I have some nice things that I really like. I've got a few of these kind of linen tops that are my favorite things to wear. And then I think I've worked around them in terms of pants or skirts or jeans. That's where I'm aiming toward. Now I'm starting a new job in a few weeks, which is going to be 5 days a week in the office. So my 2 days a week wardrobe is going to have to expand to accommodate that. I admit I was just looking this morning, I was thinking I'm in trouble, I think, because I'm good for a couple days of the week out of the house and a couple weekend days and I can work with that. But 5 days in the office I think is going to be a bit of a change.
And this small collection you were talking about, have you bought it recently for your new size already?
Yeah, it's all the new size. It's all fitting properly, which is a relief because I spent about maybe a year there where I was, oh, it's such a bad feeling when you put something on and you just think, this feels terrible. I'm going to be uncomfortable all day and it looks bad. When I'm buying things, I still think if I did lose the weight, I could have a belt or maybe this could be tailored in some way to be a bit more fitting. So I'm still thinking in that direction, but I'm buying for the size that I am, which is, I think, much healthier.
Good. Yes, it's much healthier. And now, when you think about your new size, what is the most troubling part of your body?
It's right around my middle. Always used to wear things that really highlighted the waist because I had that figure, and now it's very much a belly issue.
Mhm.
A lot of the outfits that I would have gravitated toward in the past are very, I suppose, triggering. I would have worn a lot of very full skirts right around the natural waist there, and maybe a jumper or something, but quite highlighting the waist. And if I do that now, I'm very conscious.
Yes,
So,
I understand. When we have body image issues, we always concentrate on that one part.
mm,
All we think about is that part of our body. We don't see, oh, we have nice face, nice arms, nice legs. And I read that from a psychological standpoint, humans have a tendency to focus intensely on things they are concerned about. And of course, in our culture that emphasizes certain beauty standards, anything that feels off can seem like a huge deal. But by giving so much attention to one perceived flaw, we might miss the full beautiful picture of who we truly are. And I think maybe it's a good practice every time you catch yourself focusing on that one body flaw that you hate, challenge yourself to think of three things you really like about yourself. And this is not about ignoring your feelings, but rather kind of making sure they coexist with positive affirmations. After all, embracing our body is a journey of both recognition and celebration.
yeah, it's true. I still haven't really got rid of much of my wardrobe. So at the moment, the biggest challenge is the storage. But I've got rid of a few things that I didn't like as much, but I'm holding on to things to see how things go. But
Are they in your closet?
they're still in the wardrobe.
Mm.
Um, so it's taking up a lot of space. To be honest, you open the wardrobe, I look, and there's all the things that I never pick up anymore.
I definitely would advise taking it all out of your closet. You don't
Yeah.
need a reminder of your previous body size. If you get back to that body size, great. You take those clothes out and you wear it again. But at the moment, I would say there is no need to punish yourself while opening the closet and you're like, oh God, what did I do with myself? What have I done?
Yeah.
Just take it all away. And you don't wear it, you don't need it.
Mm,
I'm not saying to get rid of it. I'm not saying to sell it. Just put it in a box so you don't look at it at all. And then you will see the whole picture. Okay, I
yeah,
have a small collection. Now, how do I build on it? So
that's
that's your future goal right now. Start building your new wardrobe for your
yeah.
new size, for your new job. You can try new things, even if you try new things and sometimes you fail, which is completely normal. Yeah. That's fashion. You try things on and some of them work, some are ridiculous. Can't avoid that. But when you find something that is truly nice, that you truly like, wow, what a feeling it gives you, no?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about your future then. How are we going to evolve your wardrobe? Tell me, how many tops, how many bottoms do you currently have?
Oh, good question. I've got about, I'd say, six tops in regular rotation, and then probably three or four that I wear sometimes that only kind of work with one thing. And then I've got, let's see, about three skirts that I wear on a regular basis, and two pair of trousers, and then a pair of jeans. And there's another skirt that I wear occasionally as a outlier.
Interesting that you already have three plus one outlier skirt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you found a skirt for yourself that fits your new body.
Yeah, they are all with the kind of elastic waist. I think in some ways it was a real mental step to say, you know what, I'm going to buy something with an elastic waist, because I'd always felt like, oh, it's a terrible body shaming thing to think. But if COVID has taught me anything, it's boy, it's much nicer to be comfortable. So yeah, so they are all with an elastic waist, so that those would all be in the mix. Although I'd say I wear the trousers a lot more often for work. I feel like I have got a good mix. The biggest thing for me is the weather. And if it's like a very long spell of very hot weather, then I feel like I'm in the same things all the time.
Did I understand you correctly that you can't wear skirts that often because of the weather?
Yeah, it's often a bit too cold and windy, even in the summer.
But then why do you have more skirts than trousers?
I think they're easier to fit right to me. Trousers, I often do struggle to find things that I feel like they fit me right, or that I don't feel like it's too tight or it's too baggy. And as well, being tall, the length is always such an issue. So many times I've bought a pair of trousers and I think this is great, perfect, bring them home. And then I wear them a couple times and I just think these are too short. They're always coming up too much. It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah, of course it is. But here I would say that for your figure, then you shouldn't go for elastic waistline for your pants because elastic creates the bubble.
Mm,
So when you choose your trousers, they should give you support.
mm,
So the fabric should be not
mm,
necessarily very thick, but it should give you enough support.
mm.
And for the length, you're so right. Especially in summer fashion collections, they love to have cropped pants most of the time because they think it's hot and everybody wants to have cropped pants, but then
Yeah.
they are too short for tall people. And then I would advise looking into German stores,
All right.
because German women are very tall.
Okay.
And their brands, they usually make nice length pants.
That's a good tip.
Example, there is this brand called Hesnatur. They have different lengths for jeans and some trousers. Another brand that uh, comes to mind is Lanius. They also have very long trousers. Hey there, amazing listener. I have a small favor to ask. Could you please take a moment to rate and review the Style Shifter podcast on your favorite platform? You would help even more women to find these fashion tips and maybe even hear their stories on future episodes. The Style Shifter podcast could benefit greatly from your honest rating. Now, let's get back to our story. If you can't wear your skirts on a regular basis because of the weather, you need more trousers. You said you have only 2 pairs plus some jeans. You need at least 2 more pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. This is such a pain buying trousers, and then you think, oh, but look at this lovely skirt. I could just buy that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the mission for the future. You
Yeah.
need to find the right trousers for yourself,
Hmm.
that have nice supporting fabric, that are not too tight and
Yeah.
long enough. That's your mission. I just need to go and try 20 trousers today. Yeah, that's the goal of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things about having the weight around the middle is I get quite conscious about tucking in my shirt.
Stop tucking your tops.
Yeah.
That's a look. You are very tall, so you can actually afford it. And if you see your proportions are a little bit off because of it, you can always tailor your top and make it shorter.
Yeah.
Especially now, it's getting into fashion again. So I presume that in a year or two, we're all going to stop tucking in our tops. It will become normal.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can try is to wear a third layer, like a cardigan or
Mm.
a blazer, or just like a jacket on top. So it creates a vertical line. Your
Mm.
undershirt can be tucked, but here you have a little shield. That's what you don't want to show.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've never really cracked the kind of blazer for casual or for a suit, something quite formal. But I know people always have looks with blazers, so maybe that's something else to try. To find some blazer that feels like me.
Yeah, of course. But it doesn't have to be a blazer. It can be a cardigan. Cardigans are just much easier to wear, and it's soft and it's
Yeah,
cozy. It's a bit more comforting for
yeah,
sure. So maybe that's
for
would
sure.
be your thing. And you can actually go for longer cardigans because you're very tall. You can mix and match different lengths
Mm.
to add a little bit more interest to your outfits.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, now let's talk about your dresses.
I have still in my wardrobe a big collection of dresses that are now sadly too small for me. I must have 15 dresses. I used to wear them just all the time. I have one dress which is quite dressy. It was my brother's wedding last year, and so I had to buy something new to wear for the wedding. I have one dress is a shirt dress. It's corduroy, like a rusty red color that I bought last year for work. So it's more for winter and more of a wintry fabric and color. In some ways, the dresses I still feel very sentimental about. It was very sad to realize how much they did not fit me anymore, and to think, oh, now I have to replace them all if I wanted to
Mhm.
wear again. Yeah, dresses. I have not been wearing dresses very much at all since my weight's changed, sadly.
It's understandable, but you definitely need to get rid of all those things that don't
Mm,
fit you, that are still hanging in your wardrobe, because see how you react on it?
mm.
It makes you sad. You don't
Yeah,
need it. Take it away. And of course, you have some work to do with accepting the change.
yeah, yeah.
And everyone has the same thing. We all
Mm.
have bodies that are going wider and wider. What can you do? You try, you do your best to keep it, but sometimes it's out of your control.
Mhm. I think sometimes when I see a dress that's my style or that reminds me of, oh, but I have a dress that's like that. I think it's time to admit that I have a
Yeah,
dress that's like that that does not fit me. So
you
I
do
don't
have.
have that dress anymore. It's time to just buy the new thing.
Yeah, you can have the memory of it. You can take pictures of your dresses, keep pictures of yourself wearing
mm,
those dresses. Those are your memories. And you can
yeah,
keep them. You can come back to it sometimes, but without feeling, I failed. We
yeah,
going to wear clothes all our lives, and we can't just get stuck to something that we were wearing 5 years ago or when we were teenagers or whatever, right?
yeah.
We have to live in a moment. Otherwise, it's just going to be so confusing. First thing you do is get rid of all the clothes that don't fit you anymore.
Hmm.
If you lose weight, awesome, come back to it. If not, awesome, just keep them there or
Yeah,
start selling them slowly.
yeah. Someone else can have that collection of dresses.
Yeah, of course, someone else can wear it, rock it, and you have all this new opportunities, new adventures, new style to explore, which is
Mm.
also nice. And if things get hard with finding clothes, take a breath, sleep on it, start over next day or next week. Don't get too overwhelmed. Don't get into the negative thinking.
Mm,
Like, how did this happen? Ah, look at this tummy. Nothing fits.
yeah.
Everything is too short. Everything is too tight. Try to catch these thoughts and be like, no, I just need trousers. Very
Yeah.
practical. Just need trousers that I like. I need to go to work and be well dressed. That's all. You can do it.
That's the spirit.
That's the
Just
spirit.
in the real world.
Beautiful. In the end of the podcast, I like to ask my guests
Mm,
about one fashion victory they had. Like when you dressed so well, you felt fantastic. Do you have a story like that?
yeah. In the spring, in April, my husband and I went on holiday to Holland. We went to Amsterdam to see the big Vermeer exhibit that was on. When we were packing for that holiday, I already felt like this is good. Like I can actually pack for several days, and I feel like I'm wearing clothes that I like every day, you know? And I think sometimes when you're on holiday, you're in another country, in another city, you want to feel like I look good, I belong here. And I just remember going to the museum, to the exhibit, and just I was wearing actually this top, black and white check, and a kind of bright blue skirt, and I just felt very cool. That's the kind of life that I like. Going feeling cool at an art museum.
That's awesome. Oh, wow. That's exactly how we need to feel in our clothes. Exactly.
Yeah,
So try to remember that feeling. And when you start getting new clothes,
that's what
get
we're aiming
get
for.
that feeling. Yes. And when you
That's
get it,
great.
it's right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here with me today.
Thanks, Daria. It was great chatting to you and thinking about all those things.
And there we have it, Style Shifters. Another journey through the fashion time machine has come to an end. I hope you found today's stylistic exploration insightful and that it has sparked a shift in your own fashion perspective. It's been an absolute pleasure guiding you through the past, present, and future of fashion decisions today. Subscribe so you don't miss next week's Style Shifter episode. There are more real women and more style changes to learn from. As always, I'm Daria, your conscious guide into the world of style shifting. See you on our next styling adventure.